In 1984, above a bagel shop on Phillip Street in Waterloo, Ontario, two young men soldered circuit boards while the smell of sesame and cinnamon drifted upstairs. Mike Lazaridis was 23, quiet, intense, the son of Turkish-Greek immigrants who ran a Pontiac dealership. Doug Fregan was his high school friend, long-haired, perpetually grinning, the kind of guy who wore Hawaiian shirts in February. They had $15,000 between them and a conviction that wireless data was the future. They named the company Research in Motion Remand, promised each other they would never wear ties. The first 5 years were hand to mouth. They built blinking LED signs for General Motors assembly lines, wireless point-of-sale terminals for gas pumps, anything that paid the rent. In 1988, they landed a contract from Rogers Cantel to build the backbone of Canada's first digital mobile network. The money bought them time. Mike spent it staring at packet radio protocols, convinced he could shrink an entire email gateway into something that fit in a pocket. In 1992, they shipped the first two-way paging system in North America. It looked like a thick calculator and cost more than most laptops. But stockbrokers in Toronto started carrying two of them, one for pages, one for replies. By 1996, the Interat KTF Pager 900 arrived, smaller with a tiny QWERTY keyboard that let you thumb-type full sentences. Salesmen at Ericsson laughed at it. Users called it the BlackBerry within weeks. January 1999, RIM listed on the Nasdaq. The stock opened at $25 and closed above $80. Mike and Doug, now 38, and still sharing one office, watched the ticker in stunned silence. The money poured in, and so did the talent. Engineers who had turned them down for Cisco and Nortel suddenly wanted in. The breakthrough came in 1999 with the BlackBerry 850, a pager that squeezed onto the Mobitex network and delivered corporate email in real time. No dial-up, no syncing, just push. The red LED blinked, and the world tilted. By 2002, the 5810 added a phone barely usable, microphone in the holster, but no one cared. You could read the quarterly numbers while stuck in traffic on the 401. 2003-2007 were the golden years. The Pearl, the Curve, the Bold, each sleeker, each with a better keyboard, each more addictive. The click of those keys became the soundtrack of power. Obama fought the Secret Service to keep his Anna Wintour, answered Vogue emails during fashion shows. Wall Street traders wrote million-dollar orders with their thumbs. At its peak in 2008, BlackBerry held half the US smartphone market and 1/5 of the planet's. Revenue hit $20 billion. 20,000 people worked in Waterloo alone. The company built entire campuses, funded a perimeter institute for theoretical physics, and turned southern Ontario into a strange hybrid of Mennonite farms and glass office towers. Inside, though cracks were forming, Mike and Doug had promoted Jim Balsillie, a sharp-tongued Harvard MBA, to co-CEO in 1992. For years the three men balanced one another, Mike the visionary, Doug the conscience, Jim the closer. But by 2007 the partnership was fraying. Jim wanted to own an NHL team and move it to Hamilton. Mike thought it was a distraction. They began avoiding each other in hallways. Then came January 9, 2007. Steve Jobs walked onto a stage in San Francisco and showed the iPhone. The room erupted. In Waterloo, engineers watched the live stream in silence. The device had no physical keyboard. It looked like a toy. Mike Lazaridis reportedly said, "They'll never get enterprise security right." He was wrong. Apple and Google moved faster than anyone thought possible. Carriers who once begged BlackBerry for exclusives now begged Apple. The red blinking light that once meant urgency now meant yesterday's news. In 2009, the BlackBerry storm tried to fight touchscreen with touchscreen. It was a disaster. Screens registered ghost presses. Batteries died in hours. Reviewers called it the worst product BlackBerry ever made. By 2010, the stock had fallen from $90 split adjusted to $30. Employees started leaving for Shopify, for Google, for anywhere that felt like the future. Mike and Doug clung to the old enterprise fortress, while consumers fled to Instagram and Angry Birds. In 2011, they released the Playbook tablet 6 months late, without native email. Best Buy returned truckloads. On January 22, 2012, Mike Lazaridis and Jim Balsillie stepped down as co-CEOs. The board brought in Torsten Heinz, a soft-spoken German from Siemens, who promised a new chapter. The chapter lasted 22 months. In 2013, BlackBerry 10 finally arrived, beautiful, gesture-based, years too late. The Z10 and Q10 sold fewer than 2 million units combined. Fairfax Financial staged a desperate buyout to take the company private at $9 a share. Employees wept in the parking lots. The bloodletting was brutal. 20,000 became 12,000, then 4,000, then 2. Entire buildings in Waterloo were shuttered, windows dark. The Perimeter Institute kept its lights on, a quiet monument to what the money had once built. In 2016, a little-known CEO named John Chen pivoted the company away from hardware entirely. The last BlackBerry-designed phone rolled off a Chinese assembly line in 2016. The famous keyboards were gone. The company that once defined mobile email now made cybersecurity software and embedded systems for cars nobody noticed. By 2022, a Texas firm licensed the brand to make one final nostalgia phone, the BlackBerry 5G with the physical keyboard. It was announced, delayed again, and quietly cancelled. The trademark still exists, but the blinking red light no longer does. Today, if you walk past 220 Phillip Street in Waterloo, the old RIM building is leased to startups you've never heard of. Jim Balsillie lectures on technology and geopolitics, warning of the very monopolies his company once tried to become. The Crackberry is now a footnote, a reminder that even the most addictive product can become a museum piece overnight, somewhere in desk drawers and attic boxes. Millions of those little black rectangles still sit, batteries long dead, waiting for a red light that will never blink again.